Summerside, Wilmot.
Mr. Speaker, I was at the student rally on Friday, and given what I heard there and in my DMs all weekend, we are not doing a great job of educating students on harassment, on consent, on healthy relationships, and the laws around sexual violence. The Justice Minister and I both agree that the impacts of this failure in education have profound impacts on the justice system. Question to the Minister of Education. Tell this House and the young women who are listening what your plan is to roll out comprehensive education on these topics.
The Honourable Minister of Education and Lifelong Learning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And again, thank you, Honourable Member, for the question. I certainly want to commend all those in our education system who are working so hard to provide safe and caring environments for our students, Mr. Speaker. And certainly as it relates to our curriculum, Mr. Speaker, we've had a complete overhaul of our health curriculum, and the new health curriculum was rolled out for our grade 7 to 9 students this year. The pilot was done last year, and this health curriculum certainly focuses on the importance of building strong relationships, the importance of consent, Mr. Speaker, and certainly there's a lot of different resources in place, and this last week's protest really gave me the opportunity to delve into some of those resources. So, Mr. Speaker, one of which is a microphone project, which was developed by the Interministerial Women's Secretariat. It's a grade 9 curriculum resource on consent, Mr. Speaker, gender stereotypes, sexual assault and bystander roles. Mr. Speaker, the SHIFT module, which is currently being rolled out in our CEO program in high schools, again, is an important resource for workplace sexual harassment. Thank you very much.
Summerside, Wilmot.
Mr. Speaker, if the minister had been at these protests and listened to those girls, she would not be defending that we are doing enough. What we are teaching these girls is that when they come forward and complain of harassment, they will not be believed. These girls are being told the problem is what they are wearing. It is that they are being too dramatic. They are overreacting. They are not reacting appropriately. Does anyone need me to explain why women do not report their sexual assault? Question to the Minister of Justice. What are the stats around underreporting when it comes to sexual violence in this country?
Minister of Justice, Public Safety, and Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and this is a very important topic that we are covering, and Mr. Speaker, these stats are alarming, Mr. Speaker, and they're far too high, Mr. Speaker. We have to think about the victims here. We always have to have a victims focus, Mr. Speaker, and as the Department of Justice, we want to work with victims and through victim services, which is of course a free service that we can always obtain, but Mr. Speaker, it has to start with the community level on the victim. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Summerside, Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Exactly, Minister. What we need to remember is that it's not just the girls who stepped up who are watching what is playing out. It is the girls who did not speak up, and it is the boys who are watching what happened. We need a seismic shift. We need people to know that when they complain, it will be taken seriously. This is the pipeline of underreporting. That is what we are talking about here. Question to the Minister of Education. We need a seismic shift in our culture, and it has to start in our schools, and it has to start with you. What are you going to do to turn this around?
Honourable Minister of Education and Lifelong Learning.
Mr. Speaker, I fully agree. This doesn't just exist in our schools, Mr. Speaker. As a society, we need to do better, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, that is why we are developing the Interministerial Women's Secretariat, along with a number of different stakeholders, the first ever sexual violence prevention strategy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we also, I know the Minister of Justice had alluded to last week, we have our Adult Sexual Violence Task Force, Mr. Speaker. And for the first time ever this year, Mr. Speaker, we had a Sexual Assault Awareness Week, Mr. Speaker, and it was such a success, Mr. Speaker, because it really drove home the importance of ensuring that as a society we educate, we support, we're there for one another, Mr. Speaker. I had the opportunity to participate in the Take Back of the Event night, which was coordinated by the Rape and Sexual Assault Center, Mr. Speaker, and what a powerful event it was, Mr. Speaker, and I'm really pleased that the Interministerial Women's Secretariat has committed $15,000 to that event on a go-forward basis, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.